Okay. So, I'm going to get the mount. I liked what I saw when we were down there, so I'd like to see it on the mount. Said that he does it. So, I always test other people's. That's the kind that tips, huh? That's better, I think. No. Okay. If you don't feel that mounting block secure, then you're welcome to secure it yourself. Yeah, if he's good, he's good. Like, you don't. Good boy. Yeah. So now what I would do is you can set it up where you can set it up where you challenge him and set him deliberately off, so that way he knows what you're actually expecting him. It's nice that he's set right up. There's obviously nothing you need to do.
Well, he did come over a little bit more, which is good. That worked better. Let's see what he does.
That other rain fell. Just. Yeah, yeah, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. No, that's okay too, though, because you don't. What tends to happen is they tend to believe that they're not there until they're against you. So then you have to fix that. So you're better off having him staying where he's truly comfortable there, and then just starting again. He just stepped over again now, so that's good.
That's good work. The other thing is him walking off when I go to.
Okay, then.
How do you step back? I mean, it doesn't bother
Hurry
me,
up
but
and stretch.
I would appreciate it if you do it.
Okay, so we know that he can stretch to your toe, right? I mean, if you want to make sure that he's stable today, and do it on the ground first before you're on him. But what I do is I get on them and I stretch them to this toe, let them straighten back out, stretch them to this toe. So that way what they anticipate once you've gotten on is the next step is stretching.
Okay.
Where in the past, if you get on, the next step is walking. So then they just try to do that in advance.
So, you're going nowhere. Just come back here to bite yourself.
Go boy.
Step up. Step up.
Go boy. That's okay. More practice.
Now you have to come back. Come on, back. 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 Back.
Good boy, and he even stepped over.
Good boy. Ho. Stay right there. Now you're really close. Step over with him.
Yeah, that's the risk of having them step closer.
Ho.
Yep, ho. Good. Ho.
He will keep continuing.
So there were quite a few opportunities to stop him in the thought process, because he was leaning quite a bit before he actually took that first step. So what I would have done is I would have fixed this thought process, so that way you get ahead of it. So I would almost get off and do it again.
Stop. I know you think I want you to go backwards, because I still. Stop. Get that today. I know this is very loose.
although it's usually
I
a
mean,
lot of...
sometimes it's funny, but he hasn't done that consistently in a long time. I know you match, but what's that to do with it? Step up, one step up. Step up. Step up. Step up.
Good boy. Good boy. I liked a lot of thought that went into that one step.
Okay, over. 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 Go backwards. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Stop. Step up. Step up.
Good.
Go. Over. Over.
Good.
Over. Good boy. Ho. Ho.
Good.
Now you're gonna have to come back.
Yeah, ask him for that step back.
Back.
Good boy.
Back. One more. Thank you. Ho. Funny out. Okay, ho. Even that's not exactly where I want you. Ho.
Ooh, that's a good spot.
Step up. Step up. Step up. Good. Ho.
Good boy.
I don't think you're paying attention.
Oh, he's very aware of what he's doing.
Oh. Sorry, I had the wrong rein in my hand.
Now, one thing that I don't usually allow them to do, but I didn't want to correct it in time, is I don't usually allow them to walk all the way back around me.
All right.
I'll send them back crossed in front of me and then ask them to do it again, because if they get in the habit of getting to walk around you, that becomes something that becomes a very dominant behavior.
We don't need that.
Meaning dominant in, like, it becomes a very strong behavior,
Yeah.
not necessarily dominant in personality or...
Very good.
Good.
Good boy.
He's all...
Good boy. I had to ask you. You're actually good. I'm gonna leave you right there. Ho. Ho. You're not going back.
He's having like a little memory of that nice scratch he was getting.
That's what he's coming back
Yeah,
for.
yeah, that's exactly what he's coming back for.
Come on.
He's like, but that was really good, and if you just do that a little bit more.
Yeah, you step up. Good boy. Ho. Ho. You're gonna push me off. Which is what you just did. No, we're not going to. That might be a problem. You haven't been touched, you know. Oh. Don't slip around. It's good. Nope. Okay. You pay attention. Oh. No. Settle down. Go for her. Okay, now I'm gonna get on his back. And when he starts to step off, I'm gonna pull him back.
Yep, when he actually even starts to lean. Like right now, he's very over his knees, so he's already got the beginning of the lean. But when you get on, go ahead and already prepare to, if anything, ask. No, look, see, yep, good. And then what I do is when I say ho and he freezes, I give him the benefit of the doubt and go loose again. So that way he understands that he'll get the pressure off of him when he responds to the command of not moving. So now give him something to do. Ask him to look at your whichever toe feels most comfortable.
Oh. No, that's walking around. We're not doing that. We're bending. Remember bending? No. That's walking around. So if I pull his, when I bend him,
so I do it as a
light.
Yes, that range should be light, and I do it as a suggestion versus pulling him around, so that way he can make adjustments in his body if he needs to, especially after the one experience we had. I don't want to see him just decide toppling over is better.
Oh boy.
Good.
Yep. Oh boy.
And then once he does it, you're going to release him.
No, this is the way I pulled him out.
No, it was the other way. Yeah. Pretty sure. Oh, okay. Then yeah. I guess he was facing the other way.
We'll have to practice this on the back. There you go. Good boy.
Good boy. Good boy. And then reward him because he did that without moving his feet. The other way, he's not doing it without moving his feet. Good. So ask him for this other way. Even if all he'll give you is a little bit, but when he stops moving his feet, so just kind of ask for the slight bend of the nose because we don't want him to, and then when he stops moving his feet is when we're going to reward. Yep. Good. Good. So then what you can do is while you kind of get him used to going the other way, if you feel like he can't do that without walking with you on him, then definitely work on that on the ground and get what you're looking for on the ground. But now you know you can get him to stretch to his left without needing to move his feet. So that would be definitely where you would do that on the mounting block until you get him solid on the other direction. And the only reason I'm even giving you so much time to do that is because of what he was willing to do the one day. So I don't want to see him do that out of a game of fight. I think so. I mean, he's capable of it, physically capable of it. He just, when he fights, he loses his mind. Literally. Okay, so what I try to do is try to do everything in my seat. And since he's got go, you're going to be able to reward that very easily. So what I do is I pretend like I've sat in something kind of sticky, and I'll just elevate, like give him that energy of let's go without squeezing, without doing anything other than giving him the freedom with the reins. When we first learn it, it's exaggerated. We put our reins very forward just so you're mentally, and then you can make it better. But just give him the freedom with the reins and give him that energy. And I describe it as with the coat hanger in your shirt. Imagine I'm pulling you up out of your seat by that coat hanger. So you're going to be feeling that elevation. And then when he goes to walk off, then you're going to just go quiet into a very neutral position and be just a good passenger. So since he has a lot of fight with his hoe in terms of standing, when you're not on him, he doesn't want to do anything but stand still. So what I would like to do is practice asking him to hoe and stand respectfully, because it's just disrespectful. It's not that he has anxiety. It's just disrespectful. Good. And before he thinks to go off on his own, go ahead and ask him to walk off. Yep, good. And then what you'll do is you'll build on the longer and longer periods of standing still. Because you want to be able to stop, say you're riding him down from the barn and Carol was standing there and you wanted to chit-chat, and you want to be able to stop your horse and have a conversation and not wrestle with him to get him to just stand still.
I don't know, sometimes it does, but he has a tendency, since I own him, to walk off. I practice it a lot, but I'll fight with him most of the time.
Okay. Well, here we're going to give him the actual definition of it by saying, stop, wait, I told you to go. I didn't tell you to go. So this way he understands the difference. Because right now, he just knows it's his rule. Good? And before he thinks to walk off, go ahead and ask him to go on his own. Good. Excellent. Now that's...
People say that when they watch me and when I first got him, that I didn't sit.
Okay.
Now, are you watching me? I'm trying consciously to sit when I ask him to.
To hoe?
To hoe.
Yeah. So imagine that. You ever have a friend sitting in the chair you want, and when you're little especially, and you're like, I want this, and you try to really sit hard and like drill yourself into their lap to get them to move. So kind of think of that when you're sitting back down for a hoe. You want it to kind of be like you're drilling your rear end into the saddle and giving him kind of that sit hard on your pockets kind of feel. Now, what made him think maybe he was supposed to trot? Do you know?
He does that when I feel like he does that when he's like, I don't want to go that way.
Okay.
So he starts to pull you.
So he has a lot of opinions about what he wants to do.
Something he's going to be doing.
Okay.
Because I didn't ask him to do nothing
Good.
right there, to walk straight, and he just decided that he wanted to go this way, so he decided that.
It was a little temper tantrum.
Well, yeah, that or that. Oh, she's going to like me to trot. I think that's what he thinks. If I trot, she likes me. Oh.
Well, based on some of the personality things that I'm seeing with him, I'm going to say more temper tantrum stuff.
Because sometimes I don't stop him, and that's what I see right there.
Yeah, like him putting his nose out was telling you that he's prepared for you to tell him to stop, and he's already arguing before the thought. So it'd be nice to get him to the point to where when you sit, he knows that means hoe. Yep, and you don't have to actually lean back with your shoulders. You're just going to kind of like get that feeling that you're just really anchoring down. Yep. Good. And then before he thinks, go ahead and ask him to go. Good. So what we want to do is we just want to stay ahead of his rules so that we can establish our own. Now, I think we're probably going to stay at doing this for a little while, but as far as the next step would be is that it's the exact same posturing when you ask him to walk from a hoe is what you're going to do to ask him to trot from a hoe, from a walk. Well, he's starting to learn the game, which is nice. That's good feedback right there. So now this time I want you to hoe, stay heavy in your pockets, and give him the backup cue with your reins. 2 steps. And sit neutral. Good. Before he thinks about it, go ahead and ask him to go. Good, good. And I love that he had such great... Yes, I watched his shoulder respond in that instant that I know you asked him to go. There was a sign of him actually giving some respect because he respected your request with kind of a yes ma'am approach. And hop back up 2 steps. Good. And then sit neutral. So, because the backup, and before he starts to think about it, go ahead and ask him to go again. Good. because the backup, back up. So that's where going neutral is going to matter. So neutral is your when you're asking them to hoe or back up, you're giving them that solid anchored feel, that backward feel in your seat. But to ask them to hoe from that is more of a challenge. So by going neutral, you're telling him that's far enough. And sit neutral. Good. So, and neutral would also be a slight weight. You went from anchored to slightly off of your seat, but not. Good. It'll help you kind of get out of, if you ever had the habit, not that you did, but if you ever had the habit of immediately squeezing your horse when you want him to walk, or making noise when you want to walk, when you can communicate completely in your seat. You'll be able to teach him how to turn with your seat, how to hoe, how to back up, how to go faster, how to go slower, all just in your seat. Good. Good. And I don't know if you noticed, he had a very pleasant look on his face. Good. I like that the bobble in the head was his uncertainty. He waited till he thought he knew. They tend to kind of like almost do like a Parkinson bobble with their head when they're unsure, but they're trying to be good. Good. And then this time don't back up. Before he thinks to go, ask him to go. Now stop and back up. Good. And then before he thinks to, go ahead and ask him to go. Good. And then you can start building on your time for that. If you want, we can now show him the difference between a fast walk and a slow walk, and then doing that in your seat as well. Because a fast walk, you're going to kind of move almost ahead of him for a second to get him to catch up to your movement. And then when you want him to slow down, you're going to anchor and get behind that beat. And that'll cause him to slow down. And you can do that all in your seat without your reins. Ask him to go. Yep. And then get the rhythm. Let him move your body so you can feel the rhythm. And he's actually totally focused on what you're doing right now because he's trying to figure out how that just felt different. Now, as you start to feel his rhythm, get a little ahead of that rhythm, and he'll have to catch up to you. Okay? So, and you want to make sure that your corrections are not, he's not wrong, he feels your energy, and that's positive. So you just want to help him understand how much of the gas you're playing with. There. That's okay. But now politely ask him back down to the walk. Good. So now all you're going to do is you're going to play with the gas. You're not going to make him wrong for trotting, but you're going to quickly ask him, you're going to kind of just be there to say, no, not that. You know, you're not going to go, stop trotting. You're going, no, not that. Okay, so you want to be quick to tell him he got the wrong answer, but not to do it correctively. Yep. You can do it all in your seat. You don't even have to use your hands forward like that. You can just do it all in your seat. Yep, good. And then, okay, so did you feel him start to plan to trot? So now what you would do is you would take the gas off a little bit. You'd anchor down a little bit more before that trot started, so that way you can kind of tell him through your seat, no, that's not what we're looking for. So you're going to ask him in your seat until you feel him he gets compact before he starts to trot.
Yeah.
So when you feel him kind of get a little more compacted underneath of you, then go ahead and sit a little bit harder again to kind of interrupt that thought. Good boy. Clean out the cobwebs. Yep, good. So then once you get ahead of it, when you feel him kind of squeeze up a little bit in the spot and change it, then you're going to just take it down a notch and back off of him. Good, good. And now don't let him trot. There, good. Now see how slow you can make him walk. Good, good. There you go.
I think he knows a lot more than he's given.
Oh, sure. Well, he's understanding what you're asking for. That's. So now see how slow. Now it's going to be a more anchored. Yeah, without any rein. Just try to anchor how you've been asking him to stop. You're just going to keep feel for that. And now you'll have to take rein for support because he's misunderstanding it. Good, good, good. So now the only thing that I would do, that I know you asked him to actually stop, but if you're looking for him to slow down in that walk, don't, because ho should definitely mean don't move. So you never want him to get a gray understanding of ho. You can say easy. So see how fast you can ask him to walk? Yep, he's about to trot. Good, good. And don't make it about your reins. Yep, there you go. Now, see how slow you can get him to walk. There you go. Good. Did you feel the transition? Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That he to your seat. Now ask him to back because he's got a lot of. So ask him to back up this time. So that's going to be kind of how you're going to control his anticipation of things. Is when you feel a lot of focus when you're trying to hoe, then I would say you have to back up. And did you see the bag? And then this way he'll learn that ho means ho, and if I still have too much go, I'm going to have to back up, and he'll learn where that middle spot is. Yeah, he probably misinterpreted your foot. Good. And another thing, because I saw, yes, you were planning to ask him to walk, but he took that first step by himself. So those are the kinds of things that will create your grays. And those are the kinds of things that show up at your mounting block when you don't want them to walk off the mounting block. So now he's just going to try it any time. Good. Good. Yep, yep. That's a nice stretched out walk. Now see how slow you can make him go. There. Nice. See how fast you can make him go. Yep. That's okay. Just politely ask him to come back down to the walk. Yep. And then go right that walk, the walk that you want. Good. 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 And you controlled it because he almost trotted on you. Now go slow. Even slower. Where he's there. There you go. Now go ahead and ask him to go faster. It's okay. So just go ahead and politely say, no, not that fast. No, not that fast. Yep. And then once he gets to that walk, you're going to just ride that walk. So no, not that fast. Yep. And now ride that walk. There you go. Good. Now confuse him and go slow. Because he's got a lot of go going. So go real slow now. Real slow. Real, like one step at a time slow. He's got that one step at a time ability. Good. Good. Now just let him go neutral. Let him kind of just walk around and do his own thing for a second. So that's going to be his reward, because standing still isn't a reward. Is, you know, when you're on the ground it is, but it seems that when he's got a little more anxiety about the saddle stuff. Unless you want to come hang out. What's going on, bud? So I would play with that. Yeah? Well, and it makes it so much more interesting for him, because he's staying in tune. Because he's like, oh, what next? What's next? You know? And then, you know, you can do that at the trot as well. You can get him to go to this pitter-patter jog, to then a real stretched out trot, to back to the pitter-patter jog, and then you can have a neutral jog, a neutral trot. And that, it keeps it interesting for them, just like, you know, changing directions and going around things and stuff like that, stopping and going sideways for a few steps, or, you know, stopping and going backwards because we got too excited about the forwards. Yeah. Good boy. Okay, so that, let's see. We can set it up like a pattern, and then you'll see how quickly he understands it. So I'm going to put these two things like cones, and you're going to tell him, and you're going to tell him to steer. First, we're just going to do kind of an oval. And we'll do it, I didn't want him to go in the water. Let's see. We'll do it like that. So he'll steer around, and what you're going to do is, when you get to where you know, you're going to start looking for your turn. You don't want to look down. I tell them looking down is where you're going to end up. So you don't want to look down. You know where this is. My turn, when I'm facing this way, is at least to that jump. And then when I get to facing that jump, my turn's going to be like to that second green. And then I'm going to keep making my ahead of my turn look with my body. And what that does is, when you start looking with your body, your shoulders are going to turn. You're going to turn in your midsection. And by kind of default, you'll kind of rock into one hip more than the other. And then you'll cause him to take a shape and turn with you. I wouldn't use leg yet. I teach all my horses to steer by their leg, by my leg also, but I wouldn't use leg yet. Just see, what I'm going to do is, when he doesn't respond, it's not a grab and pull him around. It's going to be a bump of support. So like, if you're turned and you think he should be responding and turning, you're just going to go, hello, you know, like you're knocking on his door, like, hello, you know, and then when he tips his nose in the proper direction, you're going to leave him alone. So that way he can start making the connection to the rein is support, but your body said something first. Oh, he's leaving? He's interested. He's not sure what we're going to do. Yep. And then just give him that bump when that turn, you don't feel that turn is happening. Good. And then leave him alone to go straight, and you just let your body go straight. And the only thing that needs to turn is shoulders in your midsection. You don't need to rock in any kind of like motorcycle turn. You know, like when you ride a motorcycle around a turn and you lean into the turn. You don't want to do that. You want to stay as square in the saddle as you can. and you're only going to turn in your shoulder and your midsection. There you go. Yep. And then bump him in the direction that you're trying to get that turn to happen. So now if he's not responding, bump to say respond to that. It's okay. And then just say, no, that's not what we're looking for. So this, you can kind of politely say, no, that's not what I'm looking for. The faster he'll learn to listen better. Yep. Yep. Good. And my goal when I'm trying to give them support is I'm trying to their nose in the direction I'm looking for. So you kind of want to make his nose come to the direction that you've asked. It's okay. Good. Good. Hi.
No flirting.
Good. Yep, bump his nose to get his nose to follow. Good. There you go. Good. There, and then let him go neutral and let your body straighten out. Good. So circle the mounting block. Yep. Yep. Tip his nose, tip his nose. Yep. Yep. I want to see his. Yep, there you go. He's finally put some thought into it. There you go. There it is. There it is. Good job. That's okay. So those are the times, let's just say, he decided that, no, I'm disconnected, I don't want any part of it. So instead of having that nice, polite, supportive bump, you're going to have a bump in a stronger, excuse me, pay attention. So in a case like that, like if you felt like you had to correctively stop him, then back him up. No, he won't make the immediate, but so in the future, like if he was to trot off and you were saying, you're not even responding to me, asking you to slow down, then you say, you know what, you need to stop and back up then. And it's not like, he doesn't have to run backwards, he just has to take 2 steps back to reconnect. He just totally glared at me. So he's got a lot of go towards the gate. So in fact, what I would do is I'd almost always make going towards the gate that one time when you try your downward transition in the walk at that slowest walk you can get. Until he understands it, you might get a jig out of the deal because he might be like, no, why are you making me go slower? But eventually he'll understand that his rules are to go to the gate slowly. He definitely changes his gait when he heads towards the gate. G-A-I-T when he heads towards the G-A-T-E. Yep, there you got it. Little polite bump. Good. Now do that as a figure 8 because you've gone into both directions now. So do these boards are these things as a figure 8. Yep, look where you're going. Look where you're going. Don't look at his nose. There you go. There you go. Yep, then ride neutral when you need to be neutral, and then now tell him he has to turn with your body first, support with your rein. Yep. Ooh, there you go. Yep. That's cool that he the reason he stopped was he was asking you a question. So he's involved. you've got his engagement in the idea. It's interesting for him. And when you get in there, circle that blue one that's closest to the railing. Yep. Support with a little bit of bump. There you go. There you go. There you go. All the way around. There you go. Yep. It's okay. Bump harder when he's not seeming to respect you. Good. Do that as a figure 8 again. Yep. First your body, then your rein. Yep. Tip his nose. There you go. Yep. Good. And now your body will shift and tell him the other turn. Yep. Good. I like that he's got that nice arc in his neck. He's following his nose and you're not dragging his nose around. Yep. Good. I'm a temptation and he's still respecting you, so that's great. Good. Oh, that's real nice. Circle the mounting block. First you, then the rein, and the rein is just a bumping support. There. And look how he gives you, yep, excellent. Good boy. And then if you want to give him a break, and your break could be just to let him mosey along. Because as much as it doesn't seem like you're kind of occupying his mind, I wouldn't be surprised if when you take that saddle off, he's got a little wet spot, and that's just because when they're mentally working, they sweat as well. What do you think, buddy? Good boy. Yep, so make him take that step back because you didn't ask him to go. So, and then by doing stuff like that, when you didn't ask him to move and you constantly put him back in his little box, like you put an imaginary box around his feet, he'll stop doing that because it won't be worth it. And he would have interpreted probably that leg. I saw you flap that leg a little bit. Yeah, no, I would be happy with him for sure. Because he came down here not interested at all, and now he's got life, he's got interest, he's engaged in it, and he's actually learning. No. Good. And you just don't make it personal, and you just be like, no, you need to be standing here. And then they'll stop fighting with you. If you make it personal, no, then game on, Yeah, he's definitely gotten quite a bit out of this today. The blowing out, all of that. Now his boredom. Yeah, and there's so much you can do with like the little things like that, like pick your focal points and say, I want to see how fast I can get him to walk without breaking into the trot between here and there. And then go neutral for a few seconds, and then go, I want to see how slow I can, and you can kind of play kind of a little game, and then it keeps him engaged because it's like red light, green light, Yeah, just going out on the rail and just going and going. Right. And he gets to see the sights, and I'm sure that's somewhat stimulating, but truthfully, like, stuff like this he's not in here working. He's in here using his mind, and he's a part of the game. Right? wasn't so bad. You didn't want to come. I saw you. You said, no, please, no. Good boy. Ah, good job. He's like, I see, I can do that. I had you fooled, but you're okay. We'll play this game. No. Yeah, I don't know what time we got, but 1 o'clock. Yes, hello, handsome, handsome, handsome.